hhgregg is an American online retailer and former retail chain of consumer electronics that opened in 1955. Thank you for your suggestion.
So come on down to hhgregg, where we have app appliances like refrigerator, washing machine, furnitures like couches, K-Babel, and don't forget our great app parallels like Fanantan, TT shirts and the nylon and jacket cactuses. hhgregg, we've got all the hangingses.
On April 15, 1955, Henry Harold Gregg and his wife Fancy opened an 800 square foot appliance showroom at 4930 North Keystone Avenue in Princeton, Indiana. The store would soon outgrow its building, and in 1964, hhgregg moves to 5250 North Keystone Avenue. A year later, Fancy's son from a previous marriage, Gerald Throgmorton, joins the company. The store chain grew slowly, and by 1974, there were only 4 stores. The stores featured home appliances featuring washing machines, clothes dryers, refrigerators, and grills. Shortly thereafter, they began selling televisions and other electronics. In 1974, Henry Harold Gregg passed away, and Gerald assumed the position of president. The next year, in 1975, Jerry Throgmorton, Gerald's son, joined the company, and their 5th location opened up. In 1979, hhgregg would open up their first superstore at East 96th Street and Keystone Avenue. That same year, Fancy would retire. The 1980s would see the company expand and change leadership. In 1984, hhgregg acquires Famous State Sales of Nashville, Tennessee, which would be their first store outside of Indiana. In 1987, Gerald would buy out his brother Don's share of the company. In 1989, Jerry Throgmorton became the president and chief operating officer. His father Gerald would stay on with the company. By the 1990s, hhgregg would expand into Kentucky in 1991 and would bid unsuccessfully for companies such as Denver-based Schmidt Appliance and TV. They would also be unsuccessfully acquired by Louisiana-based Campo Electronics. And by 1995, the company would have 15 locations. In 1999, hhgregg would enter the Ohio market by taking over 15 locations of a defunct chain called Sun Television and Appliances. They had made a bid to buy the 50-store chain 2 years before for $87 million, but had backed out of the deal days later. As the new Millennium rolled in, the store chain would continue its expansion. It would enter the Atlanta market in 2002, Alabama in 2004, and North Carolina and South Carolina in 2005. In 2001, Jerry's son, Gregg Throgmorton, joined the company, and 3 years later, Fancy, the last of the co-founders, passed away at the age of 86. In 2007, with 79 stores, the company went public with its initial public offering on July 20th, 2007 at $13.72 per share. In 2004, hhgregg introduced Fine Lines, which was a division of hhgregg. Each of its 10 stores offered over 18,000 square feet of premium lines of appliances, products, and brands, and they varied by location. There were eventually 11 Fine Line stores. The company announced on November 24, 2008, that they would begin selling popular gaming systems such as the Wii, the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 3. As to why they waited so long to get into this market is beyond me. Market trends had diminished profit margins on high-tech devices, partly due to the Great Recession and the housing market crash. The company expanded, though, and the business grew to 125 stores in 9 states by October of 2009. By 2010, the company announced that it planned to open 22 stores, primarily in Richmond, Virginia, Tampa, Florida, and Memphis, Tennessee, many of them in buildings formerly occupied by defunct Circuit City, as part of an aggressive growth strategy to fill the gap created by Circuit City's bankruptcy. Over the next several years, hhgregg would be found in the Midwest, Northeast, and the Southeast of the United States that operated stores in 20 states including Alabama, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Wisconsin, Mississippi, Missouri, New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. Do you remember the company motto? It was called Gregg's Got It, and their official mascot was an animated talking catalog called HH, voiced by Wally Wingert and bearing the likeness to that of the video game character Rayman. It seemed like the company was riding high with expansion and profits. The company reached its peak of 220 stores, and then it came crashing down. On March 6, 2017, hhgregg filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The filing followed the closure of 88 unprofitable locations outside of its core markets. On April 7, 2017, the Chapter 11 case was converted to a Chapter 7 liquidation, and hhgregg said it would close all 220 of its locations and lay off over 5,000 employees.
The end of an era, hhgregg is now liquidating all of its assets after failing to find a buyer to save the bankrupt company. This gives customers a short-term opportunity. Today, people swarmed hhgregg on 96th Street on the north side looking for big deals on electronics and home appliances. hhgregg filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on March 6th, and the company had an April 7th deadline to find a buyer, but was unable to close that deal.
What happened?
Physical locations and overly rapid expansion was the death to any company aiming for long years of success. Leadership agrees that unreasonably explosive growth is what ultimately killed hhgregg. In 2017, hhgregg brand and intellectual property was purchased by Valor Group LLC for $400,000. They would announce that they would be an online store after closing all of the physical locations. In 2019, Valor Group opened its first hhgregg storefront in Franklin Township in New Jersey. So what are some of your favorite memories of this place? Leave a comment or a suggestion for a future video below. Be sure to hit that like button. Thanks for watching.